welcome back to the Love and Learn podcast. We are so happy that you are joining us today on this beautiful Friday. And if you're not joining us on this Friday, whatever day of the week it is, we are beyond blessed and stoked that you are joining us, and we are excited for another wonderful episode. If you're new with us, my name is Jeremy.
And I'm Alyssa.
And together we are the Davenport Duo. By the way, have just gone through a crisis where we've learned that we are very unoriginal in the things that we do. So just a disclaimer, I'm slightly discouraged right now.
Are you really?
Just slightly.
No, it's okay.
But like, it's kind of true though. I thought that we were pretty like on course to, and I know that like other people do this, but
so there's no original ideas anymore.
No, there's not. Well, there's still original ideas. It's just really hard because of the internet. Things just.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I'll get over it and I'll figure out a way around it. But this other couple does almost everything that we are doing and want to do. And they're already doing it better than us and have a much bigger following. So it's kind of like living in their shadow, but that's okay.
Yeah, we just stumbled across their page through a mutual friend, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, along those lines. We're like, oh, look, they do this. Oh, they also have this. Oh, they're doing all the exact things that we are planning on doing here very shortly.
Yeah.
But it's okay. We're still really stoked about it. I think more of these type of things should be in the world.
Yes. So. We'll have to just be even more creative with how we create it now.
I think it's already different. I know we're being very vague to everyone listening, but
that is true.
Yeah. It's still very different and unique. So.
Well, anyways, other than that, how has your day been so far, Liz? Has it been good?
Oh, yeah. So far, so good.
Yeah.
I think.
You've had a child clung to you all day.
All day.
And then you all of a sudden had this random burst of energy where Silas is asleep, so you get to come out and play.
I have one or two moods. Is that the wording? Verbiage?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I either put him to sleep and then I come out just being like, I'm tired. I want to lay down and do nothing. And like, or I come out and I'm like, hello, hi, talk to me. Let's play. Let's hang out, you know? And tonight you got that one. So,
ooh.
Yeah.
Less yawns at the camera. We got our vibe juice, but don't worry, it's decaf. So
I don't like the.
What?
We said it as a joke, but when we say it as if we're being real about it, vibe juice, that's so gross. We don't call it that.
I was making a coffee. She's like, coffee this late? And I was like, don't worry, it's decaf. It's just for the vibe. And she goes, can I have a vibe coffee? And I was like, it's going to be one of those nights, isn't it? So here we are.
We don't actually call it.
No, we don't. But we got some dope freaking Pendleton mugs and limited edition. Can't find them anywhere. I actually only got them because a friend gave them to me. And it was honestly one of the best days of my life. Well, anyways, other than today being a great day already.
Wait, how was your day?
Oh.
It was a great day already? Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah, I guess. I was just kind of going through the motions. Yeah, today's a pretty good day, other than the discouragement that I've just experienced for the last half an hour.
I think we can be encouraged.
I think we can. I have to work through it.
Okay.
I work very hard for the things that I do, and it's just discouraging when you see other people doing it better than you that do it almost identical to what you're trying to do, but you thought that you were on your own path. But anyways, outside of that, today, September 19th, what a wonderful day.
No, it's September 22nd when this is dropping.
Oh, yeah, you're so right.
We pre-record these. I'm sure you knew that.
We have to pre-record because we are leaving town. Mm-hmm. And so we actually have to get ahead of ourselves so that we can post it because we're going to be gone. Where are we going, Liz?
We're going to Oregon.
Oregano. We're going to Oregano's.
We're going out of town to Oregano's. They have really good pasta, I heard.
They have the best pasta in town. So we got a hotel right next to it because we want this to be a full
little staycation
experience. Great accommodations for children. It's pretty great. Mm-hmm. They have an indoor pool, which is wonderful.
No, anyways, okay. We're going to Oregon.
We're going to Oregon. We got family there. My godmother's daughter, which I don't know what that term would be for how they are to me. Like a god cousin?
Goddaughter-in-law.
Goddaughter, cousin-in-law. Something like that. Definitely... They're getting married, and so we're going up there for the wedding, which should be really fun. But we're going to explore, and we're going to have a great time. Mm-hmm. But anyways, not today in history. I'm so sorry. I'm going ahead of you. You're
Do
up
you
first.
want to go first today?
No, you get to go
Okay,
first.
you seemed excited. I just thought I'd give you the opportunity.
What national day is it today, Liz? What day is it? We need like a little jingle for the beginning of it. We go like, what day is it?
Or we don't need one, and that's okay too. So it's September 22nd, and today is National States and Capitals Day. That's what you're supposed to say.
And
So
you need
you
to
think
elaborate
about
on
it.
what that means.
So as children, we learn about the 50 states and their capitals in the U.S. But as we get older, we tend to forget those important cities. So today,
is that why I'm being tested?
I told him he has a quiz.
Oh
Did
my
he study?
gosh.
And he had no idea what that referred to. I'm not doing all of them. But yeah, it's just a day where you honestly just test your knowledge. Think about the capitals and their importance and what they do for the government.
This.
Okay. Well, I'm only giving you, I think, 6.
Okay.
What is the capital of North Dakota?
N.
No, we're not playing it like that. What's the capital of North Dakota?
Oh my gosh.
I know. Don't worry. This guy's actually really smart.
No.
I'm not holding it to you to know these, though.
North Dakota. These are the really small states that no one, like, you almost forget that it exists until someone brings it up.
You can come back to it.
Yeah, we'll come back to that one. Alaska? I want to say it's Anchorage.
No.
But it's not Anchorage. It's the one that's next to it. Oh my gosh. Alaska, you got to be playing some music behind this or something because
Would you like to come back to it?
Yeah, we can come back to Alaska
Florida.
as well. Florida is Nope.
All right, we'll
I know lots of cities, but I don't know the capitals.
To it as well.
The capitals are always the dumbest cities that you don't think about.
Illinois?
Is it Chicago?
No.
Why did you pick the hardest ones?
I feel like I thought I did a mix.
No.
I didn't want to give you the easy. Okay, Colorado. That wasn't on the list, but you should know it.
Denver.
Yes, good job. New Mexico?
Santa. Is it Santa Cruz? What's
No.
the name of the other city? It's San Antonio.
Claus.
Santa Claus.
Santa is correct, but like, what's the word after that?
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out before you made the joke. San Antonio? No, that's Texas, right? San Antonio Spurs. Sort of thinking of Santa. Oh my gosh, New Mexico, Santa Fe.
Good job, California.
Sacramento.
Good job. All right, so North Dakota is Bismarck. Oh, sorry. What did you want me to give you?
Just the first letter.
Okay, so Alaska is a J.
First letter, Bismarck.
Alaska is a J.
Oh yeah. Jahamenahumanam.
Nope.
I got this.
Okay.
Don't. Because it starts with a J.
You only have 5 seconds. We're moving on.
Oh my gosh, there's so much pressure.
5.
Oh my gosh.
4. 3.
Oh my gosh.
2.
Juniper, Juno.
Juno. Wow. All right, and then Florida is
give me the first letter.
T.
Is it Tampa?
No.
Tallahassee?
Tampa, Florida. No, that's a real thing. Tallahassee, correct. Yes.
Nice.
All right. And then, is this true or false? Actually, I don't want to play the game like that. I'm just going to tell you some fun facts that they had on the page as well. Did you know that it's illegal to bury people in San Francisco, California?
To bury people?
Bury them.
Dead people or just alive people?
Both.
I could see how it's a law for those that are alive. Did it say that it was specified between alive or dead?
No, it just says bury people. But I'm assuming it's because it's so like tight on top of each other. There's no room for cemeteries.
Yeah, well, San Francisco definitely has no room.
Yeah.
Makes
Also,
sense.
New Jersey has a volcano. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Fun fact.
It's got to be really underwhelming.
The state bird for Wisconsin is a plastic flamingo.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd love to be a part of that meeting where they made that decision.
There are more chickens in Delaware than there are people.
Huh.
Yeah.
Do they have a voting right? So they have 3/5 clause?
Sure. No.
That's it.
No. Anyways.
Do you know what that's from?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
I was like, that's a slavery
I know.
thing.
No, we're moving on from that. The Empire State Building in New York has its own zip code.
No way. Just the building itself?
The building itself has its own zip code.
What? Does it say what it is?
No, I just read the basic facts. I didn't fact check it, but I'm assuming they
Unreal.
did. All right. And then one last
Reddit
thing.
thread.
This one's just for you. This one's also just for you. So tomorrow is the first day of fall. That's not what's for you yet.
Get out of here. I already had a pumpkin spice latte. You telling me that I really haven't?
Well, fall starts tomorrow, so it's another national day today. It's National Ice Cream Cone Day to celebrate the last day of fall. It's the last day of summer. I'm sorry.
Day of summer.
To celebrate the last day of summer, it's National Ice Cream Day.
Huh. Okay.
Isn't that fun?
Very fun.
Yeah.
Well,
That one's
I
just
have
for
an
you.
excuse to have ice cream now.
That's why
I love a good excuse for ice cream.
There you go.
Love it.
That was fun.
All right. Well, is it my
Next.
turn?
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, this day in history.
Yeah, I'm not getting on the jingle train, but if you
All right,
love it, you can do
whatever. I just want something. I'm missing out. I feel left out. All right, guys. You're going to love this. This day in history, in 1994, the TV show Friends aired for the first time on NBC. And the show became one of course, the most popular sitcoms in America.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you watch Friends growing up?
I did.
Yeah.
I've seen most of the episodes.
Most of the episodes?
There's probably like a handful I haven't.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
My mom's
I'm always
watched
amazed when
it
people have
all the way
good
through
memory.
so many times.
It's
So
one of those
I've
shows
just
that you
kinda
can like throw in the background
Yes,
always.
and that's why she's
It's-
watched it so many times.
I don't know if this ever happened for you, but in high school, my friends always had a debate between Friends and The Office.
They're just different.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not. It's not
It's
debatable.
apples and oranges.
Yeah, I like both.
Yeah. But like it was always like a competition of like which one's better.
Very different.
Because the thing is I think because of the structure and the like the script of The Office, it's a lot more memorable with certain moments because Michael Scott has a ton of one-liners.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a ton of like one-liners in Friends. You have like the Joey's like, how you doing? Or
Pivot.
yeah, the pivot. Like they have a few of them, but it's not the same as what
They're just different.
yeah, very different shows. But
Yeah,
I would compare
but I do see
Friends to How I Met Your Mother.
And Friends would win.
And Friends would win.
Yeah.
Did you ever see How I Met Your Mother?
Mhm.
Good show. But I would say Friends is that. And then for Office, the other one would be Parks and Rec. But Parks and Rec is also created by the same creators. So it's
The
kind of
Office wins.
yes, The
Cool.
Office and Parks and
Just
Rec,
making sure we're on the same page.
same creators. So it's kind of hard to compare the two of them because it's like, well, yeah, it's just the same exact
Yeah.
style, just some Pawnee County Parks and Rec government office.
It's really funny though.
But it's great. They're
Yeah.
both wonderful things. They all have their place. But yeah, today was the first day that Friends aired, and it's wild because for us, I think it was in the last year, they just like released a reunion episode where they got everyone back together. We watched that. You remember that?
Yeah.
You don't remember that?
I don't.
that was the look of nope. But I'm gonna say yes anyways.
I think I do very generally, but I don't remember like the episode itself. Were they
Really?
just talking about it, or did they actually
Yeah,
act
like
it
they,
out?
no. It was like everyone like sat down and they like
Okay,
had
then
like
yes,
a whole
I
little
do.
reunion kind
Yes.
of thing.
It was just like, what have you been up to? Like, let's talk about, reflect on the show.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I do remember that.
But like that was like for us, I mean, we didn't really get to grow up with the show,
Mhm.
right? We kind of had like the end of it because we're born late 90s. And I think the show finished mid 2000s. I could be
I
wrong.
don't know.
But I think that like, I mean,
We could be very wrong.
I could be very wrong as well. But I mean, it's just crazy how like long ago that show started. And you still see most of them doing pretty big stuff today. I think Jennifer Aniston for sure
Oh yeah,
has like
biggest for sure.
taken the most success out of it. Everyone else kind of did their own things here and there, but not the same.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's just this day in history. Love that. Thanks for sharing, Jeremy. You're welcome. So we're gonna
Thanks for sharing, Jeremy.
we're gonna jump into this next segment, which for our topic today, we're excited about because we are talking all about our pregnancy journey. And I got to tell you, man, it was really hard for me. I just having to grow a baby in me for like 10 months and be 2 weeks overdue and having to deal with the pain and the sickness.
Okay.
Just,
All right.
I had it hard.
You had it really hard.
No, I did not have it
In
hard.
your own ways. You
Sure,
did, in your own
but
ways.
not like you. So that's
It was
why
different.
you're going to be talking most of this episode.
What?
Yeah,
We're gonna talk together.
we
It
are.
was we were in this together.
But you're going to definitely hold majority of the conversation because you are, in fact, the one that carried our child.
Yeah, I did do that.
So I think it's important, for us to at least start off with sharing a little bit about our story, of course, and how we found out we were pregnant. Would you like to share how that happened?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. So
It was a cold, dark Monday.
It was a cold, dark Monday. No. So, okay, well, for starters, we started on birth control when we first got married.
Yep.
That
On
did
that
not
BC.
go well. That did not go well for me. Hormonally, it just wrecked me.
Yep.
I was
Wasn't
mean.
it?
I was
You were a lot of
moody. Yeah, it was not good. Jared was actually the one who was like, maybe you should stop taking it. And I was like, okay, thank you for saying that. It's like I wanted to, but I couldn't just like get myself to do it. I'm like, that's a big commitment. I don't want to then put us in that like,
Right.
oh no, it could happen. We could get pregnant. So we went off of that and I started doing natural cycles, where you check your temperature every month and then you log it and it tells you where you are in your cycle when you're ovulating, so you can either prevent or conceive at your own desire, whatever you want to do. At your own leisure, whatever you'd like to do.
Attempt at least.
Yeah, attempt, yes. And so started doing that and it worked great.
Yeah.
Up until I thought I had a good handle of when I was ovulating, and I thought I just knew better.
So we thought.
Yeah, I thought I just knew better. So going into the new year, it was also a leap year, which kind of threw the dates off a little bit for February.
That's right. You were late for that month, and then it felt like it was really late because it was March that you were late because February was the leap month.
Yes, and so March I was late for my period. Did get that because we did test the month before because we were like, oh my gosh, we're pregnant.
Yeah.
Took a test, negative, ended up getting my period. Great. And then the following month, I was late, but also at the same time, I was like, we were late last month. Like, my body might be a little messed up. It's fine. So I waited a while to test. And I was getting all the symptoms as if I was going to start to. I was getting like crampy.
Right.
That was really like the biggest one. I don't have a ton of symptoms leading up to it. I just get moody, which that was, I guess, also happening. But
you're always moody.
I am. But my friend Emma was getting married and I was in the wedding. I was a bridesmaid. Jer was going out to the wedding to photograph the wedding with our friend Levi as well. So us three drove on out to San Diego, California. We were staying in our friend's condo, our friend's mom's condo.
Yeah.
So it was a large group of us. Me and my friend Andy were staying in like one room of the condo, and then all the guys, Levi, Noah, and Jer were staying the other side just to keep it easy,
There was 3 beds, but we had just shared one together.
The boys did?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Happy for you guys.
No, we didn't do that.
Yeah, we just split guys and girls to keep it easy for everybody so they didn't have to be tempted in any ways.
Even though we're all married.
Noah and Andy weren't at the time.
Oh, they weren't?
No. And then Levi was on his own too. So it was either Levi sleeps on the couch or it was, yeah. We made it easy for everybody, but that does play a role later. So that's why I'm mentioning it. So we go out there, we go to the rehearsal dinner, and we're just hanging out. And I just have this like, I don't know, this intuition where I just had a feeling.
Yeah.
I didn't want to believe it. I wasn't like convincing myself, but I was just like, I don't know. Like it could be like, this could be an actual positive if I were to test.
Yep.
And I was too scared to test, but I also knew I just needed to get out of the way. And so after the rehearsal dinner, our people we're staying with all loaded up in the car. We decided to swing by Target to get some snacks and everything. And Jared was a super sleuth. Super sleuth? That's not the word I'm looking for.
Super sleuth.
He had to go sneak a test for us.
I'm going to have to add that to my dictionary.
Anyways, he had to go find a test
slime.
for us and like go purchase it, get it back to the car, and then come back inside before the whole group like noticed anything. So we didn't want to we don't want people to know.
Right.
In case it was positive, you want to kind of keep that to yourself for a little bit.
Yeah.
No one even knew that I was even considering.
It's funny how it was such like a silly situation, but it felt like the stakes were so high for me. Like my heart was pounding because I was like, well, because we were all hanging together. We walked in as a group, so then you have to find a way to naturally split off from everyone, find the product, then go check out, then drop it off in the car, then get back in the store without them seeing you. So I was great. Well, yeah, but I also was like, I felt like I was on a Mission Impossible.
Yeah. On
the music playing in the background.
Well, you did great. You were successful. So Jared knew that I was like thinking about it. I'm like, I just need a test. I just need to do it. Like, I just need to get out of the way. I don't know. And so,
but also for context, the prior month you had the same concern. It was like 2 months before because we were delayed. We did a test as well, and it turned out negative.
Yeah.
So in my mind, because we had this issue with the irregularities and figuring out when your actual like timing was, in my mind, I was like, okay, whatever. For peace of mind for her, we'll go and do this. But like, I don't think so.
Yeah. I just needed to know.
So
Especially,
I didn't think a lot about it.
I was like well past at this point. I think probably like 4 or 5 days past when I should have started.
Right.
Which is like, I never go that long. I did the month prior, but that was just like a one-off. And I was like, oh, it was negative. It's fine. But I just needed to know at this point. I'm like, I just want to get out of the way so I can stop thinking about it. That's more what it is. If I ever do take a test, it's like, I just need to stop thinking about it. So can we just do it? I need to know and then move on. Anytime I've ever done that, I've taken multiple tests just because of my paranoia like that. Like, I just need to do it. I don't know. I just never expected to see a positive, even though I did at the same time. It was weird. But anyways, that night we get back to our condo. It's probably like
it's the day before the wedding.
Day before the wedding. We're all going to bed. Me and Andy are both bridesmaids, and so we need to get up at like I think 6:30 is when we needed to get up by to head over to where we were getting ready at. And I decided to take a shower before bed. This is like 11 p.m. and that's when I decided to take the test.
I went to sleep already. Everyone was asleep.
Everyone was asleep. I was the only one up. Andy was asleep too in the same room as me. And so I went in the bathroom. I was just going to take a shower, turn on the water. I was like, oh, let's just take this real quick. Took the test. I did record my reaction, mainly because I always have, even if I like really don't think I am, I just always want that video in the case that it is positive. So I did record my reaction. It's not very exciting because I just, like, it wasn't like I cried or I couldn't react also.
You were very shocked.
I was shocked. Yeah, I was. But I couldn't like react, I think, in the most wholesome way as if I was like home alone or anything of those type of things. Because Andy's asleep in the room right next to me. Like she thinks someone's showering. What is she? You hear me in here being like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. Like, no, I couldn't talk at all. Couldn't say anything.
Yep.
And so I just had to kind of process that. I was scared immediately. Like first upon seeing that positive, it was like terrifying. Like, wow, my whole life is like about to change. And it's like not all of that hits you at once. It's just like, I know things are going to change, but I don't know what yet. Like you don't have time to think about all of that. And so I turn off the video and I'm just like, well, I need to take a shower. Haven't done that yet. So I get in the shower and that's when I start thinking just of all the things. Thinking about like how I'm going to tell you. Are you going to be happy or sad? It was also just a time in our life where I just finished school.
Yeah.
And like just finished esthetician school, just left like Dutch Bros where I was working. I now have like, I was like so busy for so long. I had like no free time. Me and Jared never got to like hang out or do anything fun really.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of in this season where like, finally these things are done. We're like, let's go do things. Let's like work hard, make some money. Let's go like adventure, explore. We had plans.
Yeah.
And not that, I don't know. We'll talk about it later. That's just where we were in that moment of what I was thinking. And so
next day,
this just wasn't what we were expecting to find out. And so I was processing all of that, cried in the shower, went to bed kind of. I was up until I think 5 a.m. I only slept for an hour that night, I'm pretty sure.
Jeez.
Hour and a half maybe. I was Googling like everything. I'm like, how far along would I be? When's the due date? I was taking the Chinese test to see if it's a boy or a girl. Like I was doing everything, looking up like everything. I was Googling how to tell your husband you're pregnant, like different ideas, because also I had to scramble. Like I was going to get up and leave. I wasn't going to see him the next morning. I wasn't going to see him until like we're at the wedding in the midst of all of it. So I'm like, I can't even tell you for the next 24 hours. Like you're going to be working. It's not like I just have a moment to pull you aside. So I had to sit on this alone for 24 hours. So flash forward 24 hours later, the wedding's done. The whole day I'm just like keeping it in. Like I'm seeing friends I haven't seen in a while. They're like, when are you and Jared going to like have a baby? And in my head I'm like, oh, I'm pregnant. Like no one knows. Now. Not even Jared, but like we're having one actually. But yeah, and so that night, I think it's probably like 11 p.m. again, around that same time frame. Yep. We get back to the condo, and I've just been like sitting on this. I'm like, I need to tell you. And so in my head, I'm like, oh, I think at the wedding I asked you, I'm like, let's go like take a walk on the beach tonight. I'm like, I haven't like seen you. You've been busy like all day, like working at the wedding, like doing your photo video with Levi and everything. And he's like, yeah, sounds good. Did you have any suspicion when I said that at all? Because you knew I was testing.
Yes. Because you don't ask me to go on a beach walk late at night. You're like, we should go like walk on the beach tonight. Just be nice, just me and you. And I'm like, huh, okay, weird, but okay. Yeah.
And so we get back to the condo. And I'm like, I'm gonna go change. And then when I change, I like slip the test into like my pocket or something. And And I come back out. I'm like, cool, you ready? And he's like, yeah. He's like, hey guys, we're gonna go take a walk on the beach in case anyone else like wants to come down with us. And I was like, no, I want to just be with you. Like, I haven't seen you all day. He's like, oh, just kidding. Just gonna be us. And then,
well, fortunately, no one like showed
everyone
interest.
was so tired. We were all so tired. I was tired. You were tired too. We were just like,
when I said that, and you were like, no, I just us. You kind of like tugged on me, and you're like, no, just us. And I was like, oh my god, this is happening. This is so happening.
Oh,
because I had forgot about it the entire day. I didn't think about it. I obviously was busy shooting the wedding. I never
told you if I took it or not.
Right, but I didn't think about it. I forgot, and I was like, maybe she hasn't taken it yet. But then halfway through the day, once you said that, I was like, well, she would have told me if she took it. She always tells me like we're in the clear. So I was like,
so either she didn't take it,
maybe this is happening. But then I'm pretty good at like pushing the thought away if I don't need to think about it and be like, I'm just gonna keep moving on with the day. So I did that, and then we got back that evening. I was like, oh my gosh, this might be happening.
So we went down to the water, and I was like, tell me about your day. How was it?
The weirdest and most awkward small talk I've ever had.
I couldn't just whip it out. I'm like, I was just
whip it out.
I was so like not scared. I was scared. Like it was like the most like nerve-wracking feeling. I'm sure it's the same as like as if you're gonna propose, like that feeling of just that buildup.
Yeah.
It's probably the same. Sorry, like that I was feeling telling you that. And so we were walking along the water. He tells me about his day. I tell him about my day, and then it's just quiet. And I was like, okay, so I need to tell you something. And then I just pulled it out.
You whipped it out.
And then I honestly. Like, did you react to it at all? I think you were just like, no way. Like, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was more along those lines. It was probably one of my favorite moments. I wish I had recorded it, but at the same time, there was no way to, like, naturally set that up to record. It just would have been...
Usually people do it, like, at home, and it's, like, in the bathroom or something.
We weren't home. I had no, like, sweet way to do it. I couldn't go to the store and buy, like, a baby outfit. Like, nothing. I couldn't do anything like that. I'm like, I just need to tell you.
Yep.
And so I told him. We hugged. We, like, cried. We got excited, and then, shared our fears a little bit, like just all those little things in those moments. It was great. And then we went to McDonald's to celebrate. It was more because we can't just stay on the beach. So we went up but we can't go up to the condo and just like talk about it and be excited.
Right.
Because we have everybody upstairs who we're not ready to tell yet. And so we went upstairs. Like, oh, we're gonna run McDonald's. Anybody want anything? And they're like, no, we're good. And so
everyone was just so boring.
It would have been a long few days.
Yes, I know.
And so that was more our way of just like, how do we talk about this more, like without them being like, why are they down there for so long? And so
Yep.
That's how we told you.
That's how we found out. So we definitely weren't expecting.
No, we were not
expecting
or trying.
And we weren't trying.
Yes.
So kind of a double whammy.
Yeah.
Already to start off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think that, I mean, we'll kind of talk about like each stage of the pregnancy, but that was definitely the first hill we had to climb, especially you, because we were in that season where we were looking up because we were starting to do fairly well with weddings. You had finished school. The hopes was, finish your test, get your license, start doing work. Mm-hmm. We'll have that in weddings. And then I have my other business. And between the three of them, for the most part, like we should be able to have a little bit of freedom to go do stuff.
Yeah.
So then the plan was to definitely travel and to go do things. So we were looking up like these Groupon like travel like destinations where you get like the all inclusive for like $1,000 for two people and that kind of stuff. And we're like, oh, we could go here, we could do this, we could finally go to Bali.
Dreaming.
So we definitely were in that dreaming stage. And then the second we found out, in my mind, I was like, okay, awesome. Now we have about 9 months, 10 months until, baby's here. So we can still go do those things. Wrong. Because pregnancy is different for every woman. Yeah. And so for a lot of them, they can get sick fast and for a long time. And sometimes you can have it scot-free, however you say that. So you can have a whole different just range of experience with how you go through pregnancy and how your body reacts to it. And unfortunately for us, specifically your body reacted negatively in the sense that it was like, oh, I want to be sick all the time.
Baby was very healthy, so I was very sick.
Yeah, he was
Not that
sucking
that's
all
always
the
that way,
nutrients.
but I know you hear that a lot. It's like it's kind of a good thing if you're sick because that means, baby's healthy, things are happening, but
Yep.
it's not always the case. You can be not sick and have a healthy baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got very sick. I also, when we first found out, I was going through a lot of emotions that I was not expecting.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like you dream of that moment, like you find out where you like flip the test and you're like, we've been like waiting for this, so excited. It wasn't like that for me, and I think it kind of took that joy away from me a little bit.
Yep.
Not gonna cry.
Okay.
Cool. Anyways, I asked Jared before this, I'm like, do you think I'm gonna cry? And he's like,
She said it with like a joyful tone though, so I was like, bro, you're crazy right now.
I feel like I cry for everything, and so I was just taking it a bet.
One time I told her I did a pee-pee and a poo-poo, and she cried.
What? Why does that? No. Anyways.
You said you cry about everything.
No.
Sorry, I had to inject comedy because you're gonna
It was
cry.
a weird comedy. It's like an elementary comedy. It's not funny. But anyways, I was feeling a lot of emotions I never expected to feel when I found out I was pregnant. I thought I'd be like so overjoyed, ecstatic, like wanting to tell everybody right away, and just like, I don't know, just expectant, like excited. But I wasn't, and that sucked. And I don't want to say it because I know people struggle with infertility and miscarriage and all of that, and I don't want to like say I was like ungrateful, but it was not in the season we were in, and we weren't expecting it. It like caught me off guard.
Totally.
I didn't have time to like mentally prepare for it, and it just like a lot of things were hitting at once. And so I just want to shed light on that, like you can also feel like all of the emotions I'm going to talk about,
Right.
and like still kind of overcome it. But I like struggled with feeling like mad.
Yeah.
I like the situation. I don't want to say the baby, but like the situation, I was definitely feeling like mad.
Right.
Very sad. I was like sad that our time was being taken away.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, we're doing great over here. We can't talk about stuff like this, man.
Next week's episode, Legos.
I think now when I think about it, I like get upset because I'm like, I hate that I felt that way, but I did. But yeah, I just felt like everything I was like excited for was being taken away all in one moment. And you like you were just saying, you're trying to get me excited. Like, we still have so much time. Like, we have these next 10 months. And I'm like, you don't get it. Like, you might, but I don't. Like,
She's over here smacking herself.
trying to stop.
Dab, not rub. I learned that from the Sweet Life on Deck.
But yeah. So that, I think, like, mentally put me in a really bad spot at the beginning of pregnancy too. So on top of being really sick, I also like had, when I, like, the word I found for it was like prenatal depression.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Do I look collected?
Yep.
You're such a liar.
You look beautiful, honey.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And so that was really hard because not only was I sick, and I couldn't like do anything. Like, I was pretty much in bed all the time because if I moved around, I was going to throw up. But if I stayed in bed, I was just nauseous but not throwing up.
Right.
And that happened for way longer than it should have. Like, out of the first trimester, you think it would stop, which first trimester is, I think, end of, like, when you turn 13 weeks, it stops.
Pretty much.
I think it continued till, like, 17 weeks.
Yeah.
It went on for a long time. I was, like, very sick.
Which is like an extra month.
Yeah. So I want to say I am very grateful that we were self-employed and worked from home at the time. Like, I just left Dutch right when we found out, essentially, too.
Yeah, that would have been really hard.
Yeah. And so I was able to essentially lay in bed all day long and do nothing.
Right.
Whereas so many people need to like still go to work, still need to like have other kids they have to take care of, and still have things they got to do. I was able to stay home in bed all day and like tried to do work at the beginning as much as I could, but then I tailed off and really just couldn't do anything. And like now, I know we're going to talk about like future pregnancies later or whatever, but like I know next time that I am going to be a lot more capable, but I think the mental aspect of it is what really kept me in bed longer than I needed to, or like without
feeling
having
defeated.
to like, yeah. And that kind of put a lot of pressure on like our marriage a little bit during that time. Because you, like, we had to have a hard conversation where you had to like be like, you need to do something. Like, like you called me, like not called me out for being depressed, but we pretty much like called it what it was. Like you
Yeah.
are, like that's what it is. We hadn't like called it what it was, but
It was kind of one of those things where it was like, okay, we're in the situation, we're in it, can't do anything about it, can't change it. Now let's make the most of it.
yeah,
We're not going to sulk around on it any longer. We've had our time to process.
yeah,
Now it's like feeling more like an excuse than it is that it should be. And now it's like we just need to like press forward.
yeah. It's like, what are our steps? So we had to come up with like little tangible like goals for me to be like, you can do things still. Like I just felt like so sick and defeated.
Yeah.
It was like I let that just like overcome me. And so it was like one thing a day, like just complete one thing. The next day, let's try for two. Like just like little and like tasks to kind of get me like excited and feel like I am doing something. I'm able to do like, even if it's the littlest thing, I'm still contributing. Like
Totally.
so that was huge. That was huge, huge, huge for the program. But also we didn't tell people for a long time. I don't want to say a long time, but
We told people average 13 weeks.
that's true. That is when we announced it. But like, I think I always imagined telling people a lot sooner as far as like close friends and family.
Yeah, that's true. Because our friends
We
have told
found
us
out
way earlier.
Yeah, I think we found out like 5 weeks. We were still early.
Yeah.
But
We're also in a weird season where we weren't hanging out with our friends a lot, which kind
Everyone
of
was busy.
worked to our advantage
It did
because
work.
we didn't have to pretend to like bail on so many occasions.
Yeah,
Everyone
it kinda
just
worked
wasn't
out.
really hanging out a whole lot.
yeah, we're all busy little bees, except I actually wasn't. But we told, okay, here's the other thing, why we waited. I needed to see an ultrasound.
Yeah.
That's what I was waiting for. I'm like, not because I was like, I need to know everything's okay. It was like, I just need to know this is like real and that it's actually happening. Like I feel it. I feel sick. But
Yeah.
our like appointment wasn't even until 9 weeks. I'm like, I need to like feel a connection somehow. Sorry, I'm trying not to cry again.
Have you ever hear random silly noises on the podcast? It's typically her composing herself.
Yeah. Composing myself. Dang it, man.
This one's a real tear jerker.
Not for anyone else, just for me. But what was I saying?
You were
Oh,
saying
I
that
needed
you
to like
connect.
yes, I needed to like actually kind of feel a connection to the baby. So right now it was just like, I know it sounds bad, but it was just this like thing that was taking things away from me.
Right.
Which I hate that.
It's like okay though. Like I mean, they're real emotions that a lot of people actually feel.
Yeah.
It's just not talked about a lot because there is a stigma around it.
Yes.
Because of the increased amount of like, just the increased challenges of like infertility and people that do want to have kids that can't have kids, and how like that's becoming a more common topic where people are talking about that a lot. So it's really hard when you are on the other side of it where you weren't trying and then you have a surprise. But especially when you're in a season where you weren't planning for that, the hard challenge is for us, we have like morals that we won't abort. Like we will not ever have an abortion. So we don't have what the world has in the sense of you feel that emotion and you're like, I don't want this right now. So then they can just end it.
Yeah.
We don't.
I would say I never even had that thought though. That
Right.
never once crossed my mind to be like, I don't want this. It was just like, this is,
Right.
Like, the amount of times they talked about, I'm like, I want a baby. I want to have a baby. Like, but now just wasn't the time is what we like kind of kept saying.
Totally.
And so we always like had the conversation, like when it happens, it's going to happen. It'll be great. And so when it happened, it was just like, oh, why am I not like excited how I like thought I would be? And like, I wanted to be.
Right.
But it took a long time for me to like get there. And so, yeah. So when like we had our 9-week appointment, got this like the ultrasound, that was awesome. Being able to like hear the heartbeat and everything, it definitely like helped big time. And so that night we went and told my parents, went and told his parents, and immediately after telling people, I felt so much better. So much better. Next time, I'm not waiting that long. Even if something happens, I'd rather people know and like be there to support us. So there's no way in heck. Once we get that positive, like, catch me at your door the next day.
We'll draw a picture of the fetus ourselves. Here they are.
Look what we're making.
We're making.
But I was just like, it was just like this battle that like I was having with myself and this baby that like wasn't born, that like I didn't have a connect. It was just like a lot all at once.
Totally.
And like not being able to talk to anybody or like, I don't know, even get like insight on like, is this how you felt when you found out? Like even asking those questions have been great. And I was very transparent when people asked me about it after we told everybody, like, how was it when you found out? I'm like, I was honest. I'm like, because I wish more people were.
Yeah.
But like, it just made me feel so bad. Like, I felt so guilty for what I was feeling.
Mm.
But I still do, as you can tell. Like,
Water break.
should have got some like tissues or something for those. It's okay, I have sleeves. But yeah. And then the following few weeks, I just started telling everybody else. And it just got more and more exciting and more real. And I don't like, I'm trying to think of like what the turning point was that I actually like felt excited, but I want to say it was really when we started telling people.
Yeah.
And like when people, I think my mom asked me, she's like, why did you wait so long to tell us? I'm like, I needed to get excited first. And like seeing the sonogram and the appointment, and like that did it for me. It was like,
Yeah.
This is actually gonna be sick. But yeah.
It's crazy that was Sai.
I know, and that's why I feel so bad. I mean, I felt bad then, but it's just like, I love him.
Yeah. Yeah, he the best.
I want all this footage deleted.
This will not be aired.
What's the next question? Where are we going? Where are we going with this?
Well,
next?
we're sharing our journey with
Yeah.
pregnancy, so you're definitely on the right track still. I can carry this for a second, let you collect yourself.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Teamwork.
Yeah. So even from like our perspective, I think the really challenging part about our experience is that we're self-employed.
Yeah.
And that makes things a lot more challenging for a lot of different reasons. But for a few of them, one of them is for the fact that you don't have, unless you're like really successful with business and maybe you run your own company and you offer insurance coverage for everyone in the company because you actually are big enough for it. Most of the time you don't have insurance, like health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
If you're under the age of 26, a lot of people are still connected to their parents because you're allowed to. I think it's federal law, but maybe it's state law.
I can
But
tell you're what, 26?
till you're 26. And so we kind of had that situation. But the problem is that when you have a baby, that baby isn't considered covered. So only certain expenses could be covered for you under that insurance, but everything else isn't. And so your bill for having a baby can literally be tens of thousands of dollars. And so that's the first challenge, is figuring out how are we going to figure out this insurance thing. And so what most people actually do is they will go to the marketplace and you'll find a plan and you can...
I didn't know we were going to talk about insurance on this podcast.
Well, you like subsidize it and stuff like that. But then on top of that, for us, it's figuring out our schedules and figuring out not only how we're going to continue work for the next season, but like how you're going to do it, in the sense that you are going through, and we already talked about it a little bit, but like you were sick for the first, I want to say first trimester.
Yes, and I want to say we got so lucky when we got pregnant. Like everything, and it also helped me feel better when I realized how many things were just falling in line.
Yeah.
When they were. I'm like, this is actually the perfect time. This is the perfect time to have a baby and be
Totally.
pregnant. And like, it was just so like God's hand
Before
was
you
in all of
get
that.
too settled with everything.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I
Like,
thought you were
before we
going to
got-
tell me something like before you get too far into this.
But saying like, because we weren't fully settled into like a new routine and a new lifestyle and everything like that, like it was the
Yeah.
perfect time to
It
introduce
was, yeah.
a disruption.
That financially, we're in a place where it was like, I'm okay to kind of take a step back if we need to. Like
Yeah.
that worked. I got pregnant pretty much right before summer started. So summers are the slow season. We didn't have weddings.
Yeah.
We were actually like physically shooting. So when I was like my sickest,
We only
I
had,
didn't
like,
have to-
one or two, and you were pretty sick for them.
yeah.
I remember that. You
Like,
handed
threw up
me
in the bathroom.
Yeah, you handed me the camera when we were like signing the marriage license. You're like, "Can you take photos? I'm gonna go throw up." And I was like,
I didn't even
Yeah, I
say
got
that.
you.
I was just like, you need to take this. You need to take this. I'm going to go.
"Yeah." Well, I knew you were going to do that.
Yeah.
So definitely had to challenge that. But that was the hard part too, is because it's not like, and there's trade-offs. Because if you work like a normal job, you can technically, like, if you need to, you can leave job. You got sick pay for a little bit, and then after that, you kind of have to figure it out. But with weddings, no one's there to replace you. So you like
Yeah.
had to, on the day
Or it's-
of,
yeah.
it's like a game day decision kind of thing, where it's like, we're going to push through this.
There's not two of me. It's like if I'm not there to take
Right.
that shot, like I'm not getting that shot. So it's like I can't just run
Yeah.
to the bathroom when they're
The only other
first
alternative
kiss.
would be like having a third person there with us for the day, which honestly, we probably should have done that.
Yeah.
We should have had like someone helping like shoot photo while I did video for the day. Because I
Well,
remember
keep that
that
in
you
mind
were
maybe for future.
you were super
pregnancies. We're not
sick.
pregnant, by the way. We're
No,
not
we're
having
not.
another baby.
But
right
you
now.
were super sick for that wedding, and you had to go lay in the car because you were so nauseous that I was doing like video and photo at the same time of the events that were happening. And I was like running around with both, hoping that we got some good pictures.
And I pop back out for a little bit and go back in. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm trying my best.
Yeah, I was like, hey,
I think
I'm
that was
chilling.
like the one summer we had, or sorry, the one wedding we had that summer. I think we only had one.
It was in May. It was late May.
Yes. It was,
But yeah.
Yeah, it was like right when I started getting sick.
Yep. So
Yeah.
we just had a lot of challenges with that, and then having to figure that out afterwards. Because the problem was that we were in a situation where I had left. No, I had left a business the year before. We were in a transitory position where with my business, the one outside of the Davenport Duo, it was going through a lot of like restructuring and trying to figure it out. And so I was really trying hard to get that thing to work. Now that I understand business, what I was doing was probably one of the hardest ways to even do business, especially in like the niche that we're in. And on top of that, it just made it really hard to be profitable because it's a product-based business and it's apparel. So you call it SKUs, it's the SKUs on like things, but you just have tons of different like products. So your inventory is influx and you have like 1,000 shirts in your garage. And so when you're doing all that is to say is that it just financially, it wasn't actually as solid as we thought it was for that business. And so while I was having us balance between me working on that to get that better and you doing things with the Davenport Duo, I then had to take over for a lot of the Davenport Duo stuff on top of that, while still trying to keep up the pace that we were at before with the other business. And I think that was one of the hardest things for us, is because trying to maintain that momentum was super hard while trying to still be there for you and try and keep you up and keep you going. That was the hardest part, is like our bedroom was always dark. The windows were shut out.
I lived in there.
You lived in there. So it would be like, I would be doing work and then I would come in and check on you and you'd either be asleep or you'd be up, but you would just be nauseous. And I would just kind of like check in for a little bit. Yeah. Then I would go back out and then I would go keep getting work done and stuff. And so it was just and that's like from like my experience, and it's nowhere near what you were experiencing. But it was just like on the other side of the equation, where when you run like your own self-employed business, but you do it together, that's where it's really hard because you depend on each other for it.
You killed it in that season. I want to let you know that.
Well, thanks. But
it's just like you were working essentially 24/7 because I wasn't able to pull any of my weight at all.
But that was the hard part, is that then transitioned or carried through into the next seasons of like second trimester and third trimester, because at that point we had lost a lot of momentum. And so we were trying to pick it back up. But in my mind, through that whole season, I was so focused on, I need to get us set up for success for when this baby comes. Because in the world of entrepreneurship, a really common theme that you hear about in the stories of really successful entrepreneurs is a lot of their families break up. They either get divorced, they have kids that just turn out horrible because they were never there to parent them. It's just like a lot of affairs, just like everything that you could think of in the book for like a successful millionaire entrepreneur, where they decided like their business was more important than their family. And so for me, that's where I always was like, I'm never going to get there. I never want to be that. I want to be there for my family. But the problem is that in that season of trying to like get myself prepared for that next season to be there a lot more, I also neglected being present in that season of pregnancy. And so we had a really hard discussion. I want to say it was in like November, maybe.
It was when we were moving, it's October.
So like October/November.
End of September, beginning of October, because that's when our lease started.
So we just had like a really hard conversation about that and just being super honest about the situation. But that was like, I think, one of the most challenging things for us in our journey, outside of course, the physical challenges of having, growing a human being inside of you. Is just trying to figure out how to make it work while running your own business. That's probably the hardest part that we're still learning and trying to work through.
Yeah.
Is trying to figure it out, because we kind of put all our eggs in those two baskets. And unfortunately, the one basket is taking way longer to get back and running. So we've been mainly doing weddings, But the hard part is trying to find that balance because you still wanted to do esthetician stuff, but then the baby was coming, and then it was like, we're putting that on hold for a bit. And then it was, just trying to get like everything situated for him coming, just so many other things that kind of came in because we also moved homes. Then it was figuring out the nursery. Then it was just you physically trying to kind of work through those seasons, and then me trying to figure out what we're going to do. But all of that, just like the amalgamation of all of those things just made it really hard for us to find
we just weren't
confidence.
not on the same page as far as where our like headspaces were in that last season. Like I had finally gotten to a point where I'm like, I'm so excited for this baby. Like that's all I could think about. It's all I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Like anything I was looking up, I was watching videos and on Pinterest and pinning this and setting up registries. I was consumed by it. I was so excited, overjoyed. We knew he was a boy, like all of the things. And so like any like spare time, I feel like it's like I was trying to like get excited or bring it up. I feel like I couldn't bring it up to Jared because like he's in like work mode 24/7 trying to like, I need to get us ready to prepare for our family. But I'm like, let's talk about the baby. And he's like, we have things to do. Like we should be working. We should be looking at the registry and like this and that. I'm like, it just kind of killed the excitement of what I like finally got there to get excited about, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And so it was a really hard conversation we had to have. So happy we had it. It was not easy for me to bring it up at all, but it was, I mean, you already mentioned like pretty much what it was, but right. Yeah. You brought it up. Yeah. And so it's just the idea with how we just need to like actually balance it. It's like you're working so hard for like your future family that you're not being present for your current family. That was like more like the mindset shift that you had. But I also had a shift from like, yes, I know you're so excited for this baby, but we also like do need to work right now in the season. So it was kind of both of us had to shift and kind of come back to a middle ground. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just for me as a guy, I'm not growing the baby. So I don't have that physical connection and that emotional connection that you're building with that baby and bonding with, like as it's literally like as he's growing inside of you. So that's where it's really hard for me, is that because I'm not experiencing all those emotions that you're experiencing, and my focus is right now, I'm the only one that's providing financially for this home. And it's not like you can book your weddings in advance and then you have those. But the other thing that we realize is that you can't shoot for the first like 3 months. And so a lot of the weddings that we should have been like having extra cash on hand, we had to dish out a lot of that to pay other people to help shoot. And so that pulls from your income.
Especially with because we were not planning or trying, we had weddings booked that we realized like already. It's not like we were like booking weddings after like we found we were pregnant. We weren't telling the couples like, no, the weddings were booked. We found out we're pregnant. I'm like, crap, our due date. We have like a crap ton of weddings around.
There was a wedding on the 13th that we did. His due date ended up being the 15th, but we expected him on the 4th. So we had no idea when he was going to come.
Yeah, the time frame very short.
And then we had a wedding that was like
the day after Christmas.
December 26th. We had one that was like December 13th, I think.
There was a lot in that range. And I'm like,
there's a ton.
I cannot shoot these, but also like there was a certain time frame where we had to reach out to all the couples. Like we did our best. It's not like we were expecting it. We're just kind of like, hey, sorry we didn't tell you, by the way, before you booked this. Like we didn't know either.
Yeah.
But we had to have like a ton of backups on hand. So like,
yep.
I obviously wasn't going to shoot any of those weddings in that time frame. Like I'm not going to have my water break down the aisle at your wedding. Sorry, it's your day, not mine. So I hung back around that like end of Christmas to like around his due date time, essentially. But Jared had to go shoot those weddings, and we'd hire like a friend of ours to shoot it with us. But then also Jared had to have someone who was like his backup. Yeah. So if I went into labor, he needs to leave the wedding. Like it was a lot of moving parts, and it was really stressful, honestly.
Yeah. But then on top of that, I was having to edit both the photos and the video because we were doing dual packages. We still do them, but because of that, the workload is literally 3 times as much, because you're going through 7,000 photos. You're going through 400 gigabytes of 4K footage. You're trying to sift through audio. I guess we're getting
into postpartum a little bit here.
A little bit, but that was still in that final season because you were still pretty sick and
so
like
I just
physical.
Wanted to lay down and do nothing all day.
Yeah, so it made it really hard for you to like be in those, be able to help with those things. So that's why it's a lot of those things, and that's why I think that's what makes our story so unique. And I'm always so curious to hear the stories of other people in their pregnancies, because I don't know what it's like to work a 9 to 5. I don't know what it's like to work a salary type job with a business.
I just want to like disclaim this. I don't want to say it's easier. You have it so much easier. For all we know, it might be hard. Like it might be harder like to work the
Oh,
9
totally.
to 5.
Well, I mean, the hard part is if you work a 9 to 5 is we've had friends that got 2 weeks of paternity leave.
Yeah.
And then the dads have to go straight back to work. And then you have moms that get 3 months. And then after that, they usually have to go back to work or they have to figure something out. And that's really hard. And we haven't had to experience in that. So there's ups and downs for both sides of it. So it's not that like we do it better or that we do it worse or whatever it is. It's just that there's a lot more
I just know some people are like, you're home. Like, it's going to be so easy. You guys are like, you work from home, you get to do your thing.
But when you can't pay your bills, it's really stressful.
It's like we never got that time. I mean, I kind of did because I was more strict about it. I'm like, I don't want to work when he's first here. Like, I have a lot of things I'm figuring out. I have to feed the kid. I have to, like, get up with it. And, like, there's a lot I'm learning. You obviously do too, but it's, like, my body that needs to do it and healing and everything. So I was a lot more strict with, like, I'm not going to do anything for, like, these.
Well, I mean, our story even just shares that even though we were home together for all of it and like the pregnancy, like that doesn't mean that we're good. Doesn't mean we're Gucci.
Yes, and that's what I was gonna say. We're like, we were home, but we could not like just enjoy that time. We weren't just like relaxing and cuddling the baby. It's like, no, I literally had him sleeping on me, but had my laptop like calling through galleries like 2 weeks.
I'm talking about like the pregnancy.
Oh, that too. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, even that was.
That's what I'm saying.
Well. Yeah.
Because that's the topic. We can do another episode about one where we have science stuff, but just in that season of pregnancy, like just because we're home doesn't mean it's
I will say, I think it could have been better.
That's fine. We always have room for improvement.
Yes, but like that was the first time I'm experiencing all of it. Didn't know what to expect. I now know the reward, and he's amazing, and he's so cute, and he's worth it. And I hated being pregnant. Hot take. Oh, that was another thing. I always expected I'd love being pregnant. I thought I would love it. My mom loved it. My aunts loved it. Like everyone I asked always loved being pregnant. And so I was just expected to like really enjoy it. Yeah. I loved the bump for what it was. Didn't love how the bump felt. It was heavy, uncomfortable, like all of that. But I just did not enjoy it. I was so uncomfortable, so sick, so just, all of the things.
Right.
I forgot I was going with that, but I just wanted to point that out where I'm like, oh, I just thought I'd enjoy being pregnant and I just did not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but next time, that's what I was talking about. Like next pregnancy, I'm so excited to just have a different mental outlook on pregnancy as a whole.
Yeah.
I think I will enjoy it a lot more just because I've done it before. I know what to expect. I know what's normal. I know what's not. I know what I'm not like capable of in so many different ways. And
Yeah. Totally. That's just the progress of life.
Oh,
it's just the natural progression of things. But yeah, for us, I think our pregnancy journey is very unique for a lot of different aspects, but being self-employed obviously is one of them. Mm-hmm. The other one is, the type of business that you're being self-employed for, because lots of people are self-employed for a lot of different types of things. But when you work together for your self-employed business, it makes it a lot harder because when you divvy up the tasks and you can balance it that way, then you can, manage it.
Yeah, it wasn't just like one of us is self-employed. It's like we both are on the same business for this, essentially.
So when one isn't necessarily doing their part to the full, it does impact the business, and it's hard to make adjustments because if I were to go and like hire someone else to help, then that pulls from our margins. So then we're making less money for us as a couple. So then you have to try and like scale to make more money so that you can make up for that loss. And so that's just the hard part is it's like, well, now do I want to take on a ton of more work so I'm not around as much, or do I want to try and find other ways? And so even just this last year, just about, because we're almost into October at this point, almost a year now in our home, there's just been it's just been a constant journey of just figuring out how the heck do we do this? Because it's our first time figuring it out. And we have some friends that do self-employed stuff too. Their journeys are a little bit different, but we're, I'm constantly trying to learn from them and figure it out. But that's the whole point of like our podcast is like, it's the learn part of it. We're trying to figure it all out still. It's a day by day experiment, trying to figure it out, trying to learn. It's trial and error, testing, failing, learning from it, moving on to the next thing. There's just so many things to it. But yeah, pregnancy for us was not expected. Did not go like they make it in the movies or even for other couples, just because we weren't expecting. And then there was a ton of mindset. I think that just goes to point out how powerful mindset is.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like I already touched on it, how I'm so excited for the next pregnancy because, God willing, of course, but because I'm just so excited to have a whole different like mindset and outlook on it.
Totally.
But
But like that plays a huge role into all of it.
So much.
How you perceive your situation is then how you go about your situation. So if you're depressed about it, if you're upset about it, if you're
I think the beginning of it,
about
I
it.
found out and I just instantly felt like stuck. I'm like, everything is kind of not over for me, but it just, all my plans are done. I'm not going to be capable of as much. Like, I'm going to be sick. Like, I just said I spoke that like all over myself right from the beginning. And not to say like, because I spoke it, that's what it was. No, I don't have that kind of power. But it's just like,
you believe it. If you speak it, you will believe it.
Yes,
so
and
I
limited myself mentally.
Yes.
Of what I was able to do without even trying. I'm like,
Absolutely.
I won't be able to do that.
Yeah.
Without even trying it.
If you tell yourself you're not enough, you'll never be enough.
Yeah.
You're just convincing yourself that you'll never be good enough for anything, and then you'll never do it. You just don't believe in yourself enough. So you definitely have to have the right mindset going into it. So even if you go in or you are someone that currently is struggling with that mindset, that's the key to getting through it, is changing the mindset. It's a mindset shift. It's just looking at it differently, different perspective, focusing on the positives, not necessarily hiding or shoving away the negatives, but fully embracing them, but learning how to make the most of what you can do. Because a lot of the thoughts that you had, you can't control. You can't make a decision. That's what I was saying about the whole like abortion thing, is that for people in the world, they can have some of those emotions, but then they have the decision to go out and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna go do this, which is disgusting and it's, abhorrent. But like for us, it's, you have to battle through those mindsets and just realize like, okay, I'm pregnant. I don't want to be pregnant, but I'm here. Can't do anything about it. And now we're just going to continue on and just make the most of it. Yeah. And just making the most of it is just, for us, it was so many different things. Trying to figure out how to balance our time together, how to still pour into each other as a couple, how to run a business together, how to, still try to have a social life to some degree. There's just so many different things that you kind of have to work through. But I think most importantly through it all, like it just brought us a lot closer together. Just trying to work through that trial, even though it's kind of a trial, but like, just learning more about who we are and like
our needs, our communication through it all.
Yeah. How we process things. I think that was a big part, is just like the communication thing too, is learning how we communicate with each other and how we process the information or just the season we're in. Yeah. Cause then it definitely does reflect in like,
especially with a season that's so rapidly changing. Like it just,
yeah,
from like month to month, everything was just completely different. And so it's constantly changing and shifting. We'd have to adapt a ton.
Yeah. But definitely as a guy going through pregnancy, I mean, you don't really dream about it a lot. It's not one of those things you color or draw pictures of. Maybe. I guess it is 2023. I think you just dream,
maybe the guys dream more about like the child actually here.
Yeah, so. Being a father, sure. I'm all about that. But like the pregnancy stage, guys don't think about that at all. Especially when it's your first time. Most of us have no idea what we're doing or any idea about like any of the stuff. So it's kind of this weird kind of asking lots of questions, looking up lots of things. I got a book at one point that was like a baby 101 book or something like that, baby manual. Can't remember what it was called. Something like that.
I think something like
that. But it's just like watching videos and trying to learn like, okay, what the heck do I do in this season? Because that's the other part too, is like, I wanted to be there to help you, but most of the time there's nothing I can do. We tried like belly bands to try and help with support for you physically, but like that didn't even seem to work. And so you being in physical pain, I couldn't do anything to help you about it. Yeah. And then on top of that, it was like we still needed to get things done. And so I couldn't always be there physically for you. And then when you were sick and nauseous and you couldn't eat food because you couldn't keep it down.
What I think I learned through it, and I think I mentioned this like when we were actually in the season further along, I'm like, what I realized I needed, I'm like, I just need you to like show more excitement about pregnancy, and that helps me, whether I'm feeling like crap, like I'm sick, mentally not doing good or anything. Like anytime you showed like excitement about the baby without me having to like first bring it up or anything, I was like, that gave me that little spark. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, you are excited too, like this is a thing, it's happening, we're both like on the same page, like the reward, the blessing of it all is going to be so amazing.
But there's still, I mean, like for me, like I still have like, obviously, like I don't want to say regrets, because regrets means that you want life to be different than what it is, but like I cherish life for what we have it as. But I know next time around, I definitely want to be a lot more excited about it, just because it does help with the process of being able to share that excitement. Of like, look at this thing.
Thought. I was like, I don't want to say I regret the way I felt, because I think it was so needed to feel the way I did. Yeah. And like I learned a lot about myself, how I need to communicate and process things and not just like let them happen. Right. And so, and at the end of the day, got the freaking biggest blessing ever. Love him to death. But yeah, I am excited for next time.
Yeah. But I know other guys that are going through the season right now, and they're way more excited about it than me, and they're way more involved in the process and stuff. And I'm like, man, I was never like that. And I think it's because I carry so much weight with this family when it comes to what I do, because I don't work a typical job where I get a paycheck every 2 weeks to where like, yeah, we'll figure it out, but I'm going to do the most I can. And when I'm done with work, that mindset for work, it just turns off, and I can just be present with family, and I can just do whatever I want. And that's all. And then when I show up in the morning, I clock in, work brain turns on, and I do my work for 8 hours, and then I can turn it off again. Like, I don't live in that world. And at times I envy it a lot. But when you were self-employed, you're constantly thinking about your work 24/7.
Yeah.
And so on top of that, not only are you thinking about it 24/7, but you're responsible for making it work and continually working. When you're in a salary position, most of the time, you're not solely responsible for the financial situation of your company. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you're the head of the marketing team or whatever it is, like something like that, then maybe. But most people, you can kind of like get away with not necessarily having to like work 150% every day and live in that mindset without the risk of losing your job. But when you're self-employed, you are the only factor on whether or not it grows or it dies. So I think that adds so much weight to the feeling of being able to provide for a family. Because in my mind, the way I always envisioned it was like in the early 20s, you grind super hard, you work really hard to kind of build, like for me, it's like build a business for yourself, build something successful, build something sustainable and scalable, and then have a good amount of like financial kind of security with, a good safety net and kind of like a good revenue stream to where we can buy the things that we want for our baby, and we can go on the trips that we want to do, and we can, splurge on some of the nicer things for him and for us and those kind of things. And like, even like being able to pay for a babysitter, like those kind of things. And that's the hardest part, I think, for me, is that I thought that I would have been there before we had our first kid, because I was really ambitious. I'm still very ambitious, but I was really ambitious about getting ahead of the game on those things. And then when that got in the way, I was like, I really need to figure this out. And sometimes like they talk about how like when you have nothing, you figure it out and you make it work and stuff. Or when you're in like big pressure, you kind of figure it out. I kind of believe that. I kind of don't believe that, because it's still about like understanding and knowledge. It really is just about like your experience, just because you're pressured to get something done in time doesn't mean that you're going to figure it out because you're a genius. Like you still have to learn, and I'm still learning so much. Yeah. So just because you have that, it didn't solve the problem for me. And that was, I think, really hard too, is just having that pressure, feeling like I need to provide and I need to get ahead of the game now. And because I have this like countdown hourglass where it's like pouring out slowly, and when that happens and it hits that 0 mark, then like it's got to be finished and done and successful and good to go. Then it puts so much extra pressure on, I got to figure this thing out, because I didn't want to have to keep asking you for help or putting more pressure on you because you're already going through your own journey. And I was like, I got to figure this thing out. And so it's definitely been a really hard year and a half of just trying to figure out life, because a year and a half ago, life for us would have looked so much different as far as where we were trying to go. But like, I wouldn't change it for the world.
Oh,
like
absolutely not.
I can't,
like, I don't know. We can think about all we want, like, where would we be? And I'm like, I don't know, without that little peanut in it, like, I don't want to be there.
Right. Well, not even just like the peanut, it's just like the work that we do and like where we live and like, family and all that kind of stuff. It's just, all of it's perfect how we have it. And so like, I guess part of the moral of the story is, even if you don't have it figured out, things will work out. Like, trust the Lord. Like this is definitely like one of the hardest seasons for us, just because there's so many things to figure out between learning how to parent, learning how to like work together as a couple while you have a kid. Then it's trying to run a business, technically 2 businesses and everything else. And so because of that, I think it's just so many different factors that just make it really hard for us to kind of figure it out. So anyways, that's, I feel like that's what we got. Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to share.
I'm sorry for crying.
You don't have to apologize for that.
Okay.
Those are true emotions.
I knew it'd happen. All
right. Well, we hope you guys love that segment. Let's jump into the final little segment that we have for today. I guess thanks for the topic. That was our topic, not a segment.
Yeah, that's our topic.
This is now our segment, our end of the podcast episode segment, where we go through content, comment, and challenge. So Liz, take it away with the content for today.
Okay, so Jared fell asleep during this movie, but I thought it was so good, and I think you should go back and watch it. But it came out in 2016, so it's not new. But it's called Arrival. Ooh. It's on Netflix, Paramount Plus, and Amazon Video in case you want to watch it. But here's the little IMDb, what's the word?
What
Description?
do you mean? Yeah.
Cool. Description of the movie. So it's a linguist works with the military to communicate with alien life forms after 12 mysterious spacecrafts appear around the world. Now that sounds lame. Just go watch the trailer. The trailer's that's gonna like get you. But it has Jeremy Renner and Amy Adams in it, and I was crying within the first 30 seconds. I will admit that.
That's right. I do remember that.
Here's the thing.
You lost it.
Anytime a baby's born, I will cry. Like watching that, the sound of like any baby crying with that first cry.
That sound
just gets you. It gets me, whether it's my baby or someone else's.
Yep.
And so that like happens in the first 30 seconds, and then more happens that you can watch on your own. But yeah, I was in tears in the first 30 seconds. But it was really good. Like the storytelling of it, I think was really good.
Yep.
You saying "yep" as if you watched it. You fell asleep, and it was really good.
I was exhausted.
It was one of those sci-fi movies where you don't need all of the special effects and like.
It's just a thriller. That's what they call it.
It wasn't a thriller.
A thriller is where it's suspenseful, and you're
it
like.
Wasn't. I wouldn't even consider it that.
But it was aliens.
Exactly. It wasn't. It was more like a sci-fi science. You didn't watch it, so you don't comment on it.
You need to work on how you describe movies. Because I'm so confused.
Okay, well, you shouldn't have fallen asleep. We can watch it again.
Like suspenseful, not in the sense that it's scary, but it's like got you on your toes because you're like, what's going to happen next?
Kind of.
If it doesn't have that, then this sounds like a really boring movie.
Okay, it has that. Maybe I'm just bad at describing movies.
It was fascinating because it was just facts the entire time about aliens.
No, you just need to watch it. Okay, sure. It was probably a little suspenseful, but not in the scary suspenseful. But yeah, really good movie. I would recommend. I thoroughly enjoyed. Your turn.
My turn. Well, I haven't seen this yet, but I want to see it. There's a new documentary out on Amazon, and it's called Kelsey.
Oh, yeah.
Kelsey, his full name is Jason Kelsey. He is a center for the Philadelphia Eagles, which is a football team in the NFL. But he is him. He is the guy. He is the family man. He is the comedian. He is the father. He is the husband. He is the football professional player. He's the brother. They got a podcast together with him and his other brother in the NFL. He's just like a really good guy. He's really fun. And he's a funny guy. He's entertaining. He's just like that fun dad that like everyone wants to have.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, I just want to do life with you because you're just so fun. You make everything so entertaining. He's just a really good guy. I've listened to their podcast a lot. I watch a lot of their snippets on YouTube. I love listening to them. They're just super fun and awesome. But he just came out with their documentary on Amazon that I think just goes through Kelsey and where he's at right now, especially through like football because he's kind of getting older and kind of looking to retire sometime soon. Mm-hmm. But it looks really good. And I'm excited to check it out. So even if you're not like a sports person, if you're a family person.
Yeah, I'm even intrigued by it.
Kind of like that. Is it like an HGTV kind of thing? I'm trying to think of like a way to like TLC. I don't know. Like trying to describe like a family documentary kind of thing. But
probably,
like
a TLC.
It's like a good feel one. Yeah. Obviously there's like tension in it. They have to have some kind of problem. Otherwise it's not a good story. But it looks really good. So I'm actually excited for it. So kind of check that out.
Heck yeah.
All right. Next up is our comment. We do have one. It's from our good friend Adam. He says, it's actually a question. It's not what he says. He asks, what is the best trilogy in cinema history?
Oh gosh. If you have it, you need to start.
I guess I can start.
Trilogy? More like some trilogy.
Well, you have Lord of the Rings. You have, I think The Hobbit's also a three movie series. Star Trek is technically a trilogy.
Star Wars: A New Hope is a trilogy. Wait, maybe not. That's what it's saying.
Star Wars technically had an original trilogy.
Is it only if there's 3 or if like any of them?
Yeah, it's when there's 3. Okay. I think that mine, it has to be the Christopher Nolan Batman series. So you have Batman Begins, you have the Dark Knight Rises, and then you have or you have the Dark Knight and then you have the Dark Knight Rises. And especially the first two are incredible. They're just super well scripted, well acted, tons of great action in it. But it's just like, I don't know, it's the coolest Batman one out there. And I'm sure a lot of people probably would agree with that. But that's definitely like on the top list for trilogies for me. Off the top of my head, I guess.
Off the top of my head, I don't have any.
Are you looking at them right now?
I'm learning right now. There's a lot of them.
Well, don't read articles. Look at titles for trilogies and just pick
I'm
one.
Scrolling and looking. Maybe the Pirates of the Caribbean 1 through 3. But there's more than that. So why is that on this list? Right? I'm not wrong on that. Why is it considered a trilogy if there's not? Whether the rest of them just don't matter?
I don't know. I think that a trilogy has to follow a storyline that connects the three of them, but then
Alien was good.
Alien, the movie?
Yeah, the trilogy.
You didn't even watch all of them. You just
I've
said
seen
Alien.
all of them.
You've seen all of the Alien movies? And
Yeah.
Predator?
Yeah.
Really?
Alien versus Predator, all of those, yeah.
Weird.
Anyways,
I wouldn't take you for someone to want to watch those.
watch with my mom.
Of course you did.
They were good. Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that's a great one.
The Bourne trilogy.
Bourne Trilogy is a great one. I actually love the Bourne Trilogy.
Mission Impossible 1 through 3 is what they have on here too. The Toy Story trilogy. Number 4.
Toy Story's pretty good.
Back to the Future. Never seen that. Sorry. The original Star Wars trilogy is on here.
Yeah, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah. The Lord of the Rings.
I said that earlier.
Oh. Sorry, I was reading while you were talking. I don't have an answer for you, Adam. But I don't think we're surprised by that.
We're not surprised.
We're not surprised.
That's
that I can't
okay.
make a decision. Final answer, Alien and Toy Story.
You're like, I like the first 3 Harry Potters.
I know, I wish that was a trilogy because that would be better.
Much more than a trilogy. All right. Well, that's that for that. And the last one we got is challenge. What is your challenge for this week?
My challenge. So tomorrow is the start of fall, right? I already challenged you guys to go get pumpkin spice lattes a while ago before it was fall. But I want you guys to make a fall bucket list.
Oh.
That means you have to make a fall bucket list too.
Okay.
Okay. Here's the thing. I want us to get good about making like fun memories and traditions with Sai. Right?
Totally.
And so it doesn't have to be like, we have to wear scarves and matching flannels and go to the like pumpkin patch and pick out a perfect pumpkin and I don't know, not like that. Weasel. But it's just like, I don't know. I want to make pumpkin bread. So like when it's fall, like he's used to like, oh, mom makes pumpkin bread in the fall.
Yeah.
And you start those things, and I feel like start it now. You know, what's better time than now? So like making pumpkin bread, I would love to do that. I know hot chocolate is winter, but like just making it all cozy.
Yeah.
Like taking Sai to a pumpkin patch of some sort would be so fun. Get a cute little photo. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So there is a ton more, especially if you live somewhere more seasonal.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on Pinterest, look up some fun fall bucket list ideas. Write them down, check them off before winter starts.
Winter starts.
Winter starts.
Love it. Great tip.
What's yours? What do you got
My
going on?
challenge is over the weekend to text 3 random people. They can be people that are close to you. They can be people that you haven't talked to in a while. It's up to you. It's probably going to be easier for people that you are kind of doing life with right now. But send them a nice, hearty, long text about how you appreciate them, how you love them, how you're inspired by them, or how you want to encourage them in life.
That's good.
We don't hear it enough. People don't do it. That means you have to do it for me.
I was going to ask if you were going to do it for me.
But we don't hear it enough, and it makes our day whenever we get texts like that. But if you just picked 3 people, the first 3 people to come to mind, and just write out a nice long text for them, that would be awesome. But it'll also probably challenge you.
My phone number is, I'm just kidding. Terrible. Terrible.
But it might also challenge you, because if you have a hard time writing a nice, long, hearty text to some people about how you appreciate them, then maybe that speaks to maybe your relationship or how often you share things like that.
Like, or it speaks, like if you're struggling to even sit down and do it, it struggles to like how you're prioritizing your time.
Yeah.
And like your ability to, you know, put something else aside for someone else to like encourage them and lift them up. So
Totally.
yeah.
So all around a great check, a good cause.
And invite them to do something off of your fall bucket list.
Yeah, there you go. I'm going to send you this really
Tie it
long,
together.
hearty message with a call to action at the end.
And make sure to put on your fall bucket list that you are going to watch your favorite trilogy during the fall season.
Or just Arrival.
Yeah, watch Arrival.
Watch Arrival.
So, all right.
All right, guys. Well, that's what we got for you today. We hope that you love it. Leave us a review. Share this with your friends and your family. And we will catch you guys in the next episode. Peace out.